Good morning, everybody. What's up? Today is, as we know, Friday, December 23rd, and this is not the normal screen that we look at. This is what's going on right now. And this is the conundrum of the day, all right? If the stream cuts out today, this is why. If the stream is low quality today, this is why. And this is also why I will not be trading today. I will not be trading today because of what you see on your screen right here. This is the Windy app. For those of you who don't know what this is, it just shows us what the wind looks like. And right now we're getting gusts well into the 60s with a steady read of around 35, 40 miles an hour. Just absolutely incredible. I'm not going to tell you exactly where I live in this map, but you can just take a guess that I live somewhere on the coast, mainly in an area that's pink. Okay? So, gusts up to 60, steady at 40. Internet's a little bit shaky. I don't know how the stream quality is this morning, but that's what's going on. And it's just unbelievable. It was like this all night long. It's really cold out in the not Midwest, but if we zoom out on this map, you can see this is New England. I'm somewhere up here, right? We are getting some warmer air from the Gulf Stream coming up this way. So it's a warm wind. If anyone's heard the song by Tommy Emmanuel, Windy and Warm, It's windy and warm right now. It's it's no colder than about 45 maybe outside. So it's a warm wind, but it's a really, really intense wind. It's cold here. This is sort of that Midwest area, but these guys aren't getting the Gulf Stream warmth. We're getting the Gulf Stream warmth. Okay, so it's not cold. It's real windy. It's supposed to get cold in the coming days. So whether or not that turns into like ice and a nasty storm in the next couple of days, maybe, who knows? But because of this, it's not, well, number one, it's the day before the holidays, right, in terms of market timing. So already we've got low volume floater type, situation in context. And with the possible power outage, I don't want to be caught holding the bag as we head into Christmas. So I just won't be trading this morning. I do want to see what the market's reaction is to the PCE, and however long the electricity stays on, the electricity stays on, and we'll watch whatever we're going to watch. So that's the situation this morning. Just wanted to kind of share that with you guys. If we take a look at this over here, this is fairly close. This is fairly close to where I'm at. It's not right on the money. I'm not going to show you exactly where I'm at, but this is fairly close. This beach typically does not have big rollers. These guys, I would have to imagine that these are 6 to 8 footers right now. 6 to 8 footers, just unbelievable. What would be typical for here? Maybe 3 on a windy day, 3 footers. So just huge, huge wind out there. Kind of crazy to be looking at. So yeah, that's the situation. You can see, look at these guys on the ground. This is a live camera. Look at the, oops, I don't know if that'll go away, but you can see these guys on the ground here, checking it out. They're like, oh man, look at these waves. Live action coming to you, broadcast to the newsroom, blah, 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 whatever. But this is, it's crazy stuff. It's crazy stuff. I haven't seen a storm like this windy in quite some time. So anyways, that's what's going on in my world. Hopefully you are, if you're dealing with the same, if you're somewhere coastal New England, you've got, something similar going on. If not, then, enjoy your day before the weekend here. Let's take a look at our economic calendar. This is what the big deal is today, of course. Okay, so 8:30 in just a few minutes here, actually, 7 minutes. Notice what I did there. I killed some time. But in about 7 minutes, we're going to be getting the core PCE price index month-over-month reading. And the expectation is for 0.2. Previous was 0.2. Anything that's higher than a 0.3, market probably does not like that and takes a big old move in the downward direction. All right, that would be my guess. That would be my guess for what could be in store here on the morning session. All right. So anything that's under 0.3, so we would just say less than 0.3, market's either flat, content, maybe it rallies a little bit, but again, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. The economic news has really been driving the market cycle recently, so we'll see if it causes like a major rally. But I wouldn't anticipate that it undoes the big downtrend from the CPI and the Fed news of last week. But you never know. You just never know, especially on a low, as we've been calling it. This is a low vol floater type day. Vol is in volume, not volatility. So market very easily could get back up into that range. We're not entirely sure one way or another, but expect some volatility here in, what is it now, 6 minutes. So we'll be covering the reaction live. Before we get to it, let's just have a look at some stock-specific headlines from CNBC. Facebook's parent Meta agrees to pay $725 million to settle a privacy lawsuit. Oof. Meta is a top recession. So interesting, the little sub-article here. Meta is a top recession stock for 2023, analysts say, after the shares tanked 65% this year. What else? Futures are flat as we head for the third straight down week. Solid year for dividend stocks. So in my long-term portfolio, this is kind of a sidebar tangent, but here's the long-term portfolio percentage of pie. Right, let's say that this is just your classic VOO/VTI, basically the S&P 500. And then in here, I would say like this is dividend stocks, this is speculation. All right, so I've got a decent chunk of dividends, I would say, maybe an eighth chunk of dividends in the long-term holdings. It might even be a little bit more than that, maybe something that looks like this, depending on how some of those have grown on a relative basis. But dividends will never, they're a solid play for the long term. I would say usually they're a little bit more resilient than growth stocks. They're not going to give you that explosive growth, obviously, because they're not growth stocks. They're value plays, but they will stay fairly steady. So if you prefer less volatile things, that would be your route, right? Or just the S&P. One or the other. What else? What else? Stock-specific news. Google tells employees more of them will be at risk for low performance ratings next year. Thanks, Google. That's exactly what you want to. Wow, that's weird. I don't know if that's like a reverse psychology type move to try to make them perform better or keep everybody on edge. To me, that's a terrible way to manage employees. Why would you tell everybody that when the whole tech industry is getting shaken up? They're all going to be nervous, thinking, oh, is my job in jeopardy? I think that's a terrible move. I think that's a terrible move from a PR perspective from Google. So not a fan of that headline. If you work for Google, then I guess I feel for you slightly. I mean, you've got a good position because Google's a great company to work for. I guess the benefits are real good. And they supposedly treat their employees well, but to see a headline like that, not great. What else? Airlines cancel thousands of flights as the winter storm and bitter cold sweep the U.S. before Christmas. That's exactly what we were just looking at, but I'm, of course, on the warmer spectrum of that, thankfully. Thank you, Gulfstream. What else? Microsoft responds to the FTC case seeking to block the Activision Blizzard deal. I'm actually curious to see how that pans out. What else? It's kind of it. Stock-specific stuff. Tom Lee says there's a chance Fed pauses hiking for all of 2023, sparking a massive stock rally. I don't know about that, Tom Lee. I do think that the Fed bailout may be around the corner, but just a pause, I don't know. All right, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to move this over, and we're going to flip the ES down to a 5-minute chart so we can see the reaction to the PCE. So this is now, we're all on the same page, right? And then we'll flip through the chat, see what else everybody's saying about possibly the weather, Christmas, holidays, all that good stuff. So this is the ES. Right, for anyone possibly new to the stream, which I don't think there are very many new people here. We've got our core group I can see from the chat so far. This is the ES on the 5-minute time frame chart. We'll see what the reaction is. We'll leave that up out of the corner of our eye, and we'll just kind of go back on over here and get on over to the numbers. All right, so we will let this sit. The numbers come out in approximately 2 minutes. I don't know why I hit refresh, just because maybe we would see something early, but nope, not the case. All right, I'm gonna scroll up. What does the chat say about the weather here? What's the chat saying? INF, good morning. Hopefully it's hopefully you're getting some. I don't know what coast you're on in Canada, but hopefully the Gulf Stream's bringing you some warmth. Philip M, nice to see you. Roger Tutt, Thayer, Luke, new to stock, Cy, Mickey, the art of consuming knowledge, Hawk Tunes, Ivan Lobis. We've got Roger Tutt, Machiavelli, the Don. It's a great name. Live Better's here. Muda Man, Ross Muir is in the building. Cipriano, Johnny Whitaker, Soldier Down. Anyone have any comments about the wind here? Let's see. You're outside right now, and it's INF, man. What do you do? I'm curious as to what your thing is there. Am I on the wrong stream? Yeah, we're actually we're transitioning to a weather channel this morning. Big Spark. We are now going to be weathermen instead of forecasting markets. We're going to be forecasting weather. Nick's down in the Gulf Coast of Florida, so thanks for sending up the warm air. Appreciate that. What else? 36 in Florida on Sunday. Oof, it's tough. What else? East coast of Canada, not far from New England, from Thoughtful Drifter. Much of the same a bit later. Yeah, it's a little messy. Yep. 12 in Kansas, a big heat wave coming. Yep. All right, here we go. Here comes the news. All right, boom. News is out. Or it looks like someone got it early. We've got 2 seconds to go. Market's not responding so favorably. I don't know if it's going to be one of those fake out head pump, this, that, the other thing. Market's stalling here. Thinkorswim giving us that typical look. Whoa, big gap on that next candle open. Now higher. Whew, this volatility is kind of wonky. Here, guys. Look at that market reaction. That was I mean, it's not scary because we're not trading it, but the illiquid market there, gapping all the way down, filling and opening that next candle, on like a 10-point gap down. Ooh, ugly. Ugly, ugly. All right, what's the number? Let's click the refresh button. Let's see what it is. I would imagine it's kind of neutral or on par with the expectation if we're just going sideways here. What's the number? Give us the number here. Come on. Come on. All right, we're going to give you one last go. Click. And still nothing. Is it 0.2? I got a 0.2 from Lawrence Stewart. I got a 0.1 from B. Lee. I got a 4.7 from Empower, a 0.1 from Polar Bear. Guys, where are you guys getting your numbers from? What's the official one here? 0.2. 0.2. Okay. All right. Everything's under control. No fires to put out. No fires to put out, but also nothing to be overly enthused about, right? 0.2. What we care about is the month over month here. Month over month. All right. And this, I mean, to be quite honest with you guys, the month over month coming in at the expectation shouldn't really be too much of a surprise. Remembering what we got last week, on the core month over month read, we beat by 0.1. And on the core month over month regular, we beat by 0.2. Right. So I'm not surprised to see the PCE right here come in. This silly thing, man, to come in right at the expectation at a 0.2. Does not really shock me all that much. To be honest with you, given that the expectation or what we just saw previously for the CPI was actually a beat by 0.1 to 0.2%, depending on if you're using core or the regular read, this is actually an underwhelming result, right? Which is why I have to imagine, because the CPI was such a solid beat and it caused us that gap up, I would imagine that this underwhelming expectation hit type move is why the market's kind of moving lower here and like, all right, I mean, it's okay, but it's not what we wanted to see by any stretch of the imagination, right? So to me, again, it's not all that surprising. I suppose the interesting thing would just be the market's expectations that we want to see inflation to be coming down even more aggressively than it already is, right? So the pace at which inflation's coming down is not satisfactory, at least in the market's eyes, right? A 0.1 read here, a flat read would have been what the market was probably looking for, right? So if we open this up, came in right at the expectation here, boom, got your 0.2, which again is on par for sort of typical reads for our market. But when we're coming off the heels of something that was like this throughout 2021, 2022, you of course want to see these numbers 0.10 moving in the right direction to undo some of this damage, quote unquote, so to speak. So overall, definitely as Nick says in the chat, definitely a sketchy move unfolding on the downside here with just a complete lack of liquidity on this big jump. If we look at the market profile, let's head on over here and go to the ES. We can probably see this if we just expand this. Yeah, we should have had, man, that would have been cool to see if we had this up side by side. But where you got that big jump in the ES was probably when we went, what was the pricing? It was from 38.48. So where's 38.48? 38.48 up here. You can see there's plenty of liquidity, right? 2,000 contracts, 1,900, 2,000, 1,800, 1,700, 1,000, right? Plenty of liquidity. And then where we gapped down to was what, 38.41 or something like that? 38.41 brings us to here, 300 contracts. So imagine, you have 2,000 people bidding on something, and then all of a sudden, when the gap happened, we've traded back and forth through it now a couple of times, but when it happened, I imagine there was like 1 contract filled there, maybe 5 contracts filled there. So imagine going from 2,000. Think about it like this, guys. Literally think about it like an auction room, right? Imagine a full auditorium of people, 2,000 of them bidding on something. Remember the classic, right? Barrett Jackson car auctions out in like Las Vegas or Nevada, wherever they have them, right? Arizona, out in the West. Imagine a full auction house of 2,000 people, and then you snap your fingers, and then the whole place is empty. There's 5 of you in there. You all look around at one another. You're like, what on earth just happened? Where did everybody go? I'm not going to bid on this here. And then you look at the other guy, and he's like, yeah, neither am I. And then the one guy is like, I guess I'll throw a bid out there for this price. If everybody else is gone, it's like maybe I'll try to get it on a discount here. I guess I'll try, but that's essentially what just happened in the ES, right? Everybody's looking around like, you want to take a shot at it here? No. You? No. How about you? No. All right. Well, there's only one other person left in the auction room. Are you going to do something? Are you going to prop prices up, or are we going to go to zero? And then the person's like, maybe, right? That's exactly what happened here. So, anyways, ES continuing to resolve the price in the downward direction. Just floating lower on this PCE reaction, which was again at expectation, but the market wanted to see more than that. The market wanted to see a beat, just like what we saw in CPI, right? And obviously, we're trending lower here. So, with that said, we've sort of covered the fundamentals of the morning. For anyone just tuning in, we'll do this one last time, and then we'll just continue out through the stream as we typically do. Just want to point out that if the stream cuts out, so far so good. So I don't want to jinx it either. So far so good, but we're dealing with a high wind situation on today's session. We're somewhere here taking it on the nose with 30, 40 mile an hour winds, constant 60 mile an hour gusts. If the stream cuts out, so just like we use the if with the market, we'll do the same thing for the stream. If the stream cuts out, it's because I lost power. It's because I lost Wi-Fi, wires down or something. So just know if I disappear, it's not because the Grinch came and stole me away for Christmas. It's because the power went out. All right. So let's get on over to the platform and do what we do best here. Here's the market. 4-hour time frame chart. What's going on with the ES? From a trend perspective, we finally got what we were looking for. So thank the high heavens, the market high heavens. Sneeze coming. 1 second. Ooh, God bless me. Oh, man. We finally got what we were looking for, which is that 4-hour/daily, depending on if you're an ES or a SPY trader, you're looking for the 4-hour versus the daily lower high. Finally happened the other day, right? And we talked about this explicitly in the Wednesday night midweek market update video. So if you didn't watch the Wednesday night video, it really talks about why I thought this could have been the place where the market runs out of steam. And I think it was a good learning lesson. We're not right 100% of the time, but the signs were there to not really trust this rally. So if you want to learn something about the rally and why it wasn't trustworthy, you can watch that video. But for now, the 4-hour trend is just nice and clean now in the downward direction. We've got big time lower highs, and we've got lower lows along the way as well. On yesterday's session, really interesting close there. I sort of wrapped it up around 10 o'clock yesterday and came back as the market closed to see that big counter trend move. Really kind of, I don't want to say perplexing, but impressive move nonetheless. But it does, it's still not bullish by any stretch of the imagination. Let me be very clear about that. Because we made from here to here, especially in the regular trading hour session, a big new lower low, we're still in a downtrend, guys. So from high to lower high to lower high, from low to lower low to lower low to lower low to lower low, we can essentially afford a lower high, another one on the 4-hour anywhere underneath here, 39.25-ish. Okay. So 4-hour structure still remains bearish. Let's go to the hourly, and we'll look at the hourly in two different ways. If we look at it from this perspective, we know that we've got our lower highs, same exact thing that we just discussed on the 4-hour, right? But the most meaningful thing is kind of taking a look with the extended hours off to see where this acceptance is taking place. So again, you can see now, right, any lower highs, because we have from here to here lower low, any lower highs that are underneath the high of Wednesday still keep the downtrend in like full-blown downtrend mode. Or if we take it out, we would then need to make a more aggressive lower low. So it'd be a little bit more difficult to keep the downtrend clean, but it's still a possibility. So I'm not seeing anything that's overly bullish just yet. Nothing on my radar is like, hey, big counter trend move incoming, possibly reversing the trend to the upside. Just not seeing it yet, not seeing the evidence on the higher time frame charts that there's a reversal at play here. Let's go to the 15-minute, and we'll put the extended hours back on. And just like that, wow, back higher from the PCE, almost to where we left off. So I suppose if this was just madness, if this was just a flash in the pan, then the 0.2 at the expectation was exactly a nothing burger for the market. We're exactly where we started, right? We're exactly where we started. So so far, so good, I guess, in terms of not doing much. little bit lower now. We'll continue to keep an eye on it, but let's be objective. Let's just have a look at our 15-minute chart and ask the 3 questions. Again, full disclosure, I will not be trading because of the possible power outage. So I'm just giving you my thoughts here today on the morning session. I'll do it as I would typically do it, as if I were going to trade. But if you're someone who's like, put your money where your mouth is, just know, full transparency, I'm not trading today. I am not trading today, okay? So with that said, question number 1, where are we opening? We are opening inside of range, okay? So opening inside of range, no shock and awe, no big knee-jerk reactions. Whenever we're opening in range, I always like to ask question 1.5, where are we opening in relationship to the value area? Here's value area high, here's value area low. We are currently opening above the value area, okay? So slightly more bullish than bearish. Let's put the neutral tilde here for number 1. And that's that, question 1 and 1.5. Question 2, where are we opening in terms of the overnight range, right? Here's the overnight high. Overnight low should be adjusted to its rightful place. A little bit lower, right on over yonder. All right, so we are opening with this wild volatile candle from PCE. We're just kind of opening all over the place in the overnight range, but currently trading closer to the upper third. So let's just go, one of these slight upward arrows as well for number 2. And then question number 3, what's the situation with the overnight inventory, net long, net short? Extrapolate the settling price, same thing as saying the close. From the prior day's session, how much time was spent above, how much time was spent below? Certainly much more time spent above, and with this little wick underneath and then popping back above, I would say that we're still probably something like, let's go 80% possibly on the net long side, 80% net long, right? So there's a really, neutral open for us on today's session. I'm not seeing the reason to be overly aggressive. Again, if I were trading this, I would probably exercise patience on the open. All of the 3 questions are sort of pointing towards patience, especially number 1. This doesn't really mean a whole lot when we are opening in balance. It means much more when we have a possible skew from balance, right? So all things considered, I think it's a day to be patient. Even if the power wasn't possibly a threat to the health of trading today, I would say that it's the day before the holiday weekend, obviously. You're getting people who have already left desks on Thursday's session, I would even say yesterday. You're getting Wall Street who's out. You're getting retail who's winding down anyways. It just doesn't seem to me, at least, to be a big day to push it in the market and look for these big home run trades. It's a Friday as well. I mean, you've got so many things kind of working, not against you, but from a psychological perspective and in terms of your understanding slash, I would actually put it like this, not understanding, but in terms of your relationship with the market, today's a day to make sure that you're in control. All right, I would say this. Let me clear up the screen so we can actually focus on this topic because it's actually it's a really important topic. As a trader, you have some sort of relationship with the market. So I'll put an R here for relationship. And that relationship can either be positive or it can be negative. And sometimes I think to myself, because of the fact that, I'm really tied up in the market. I make these videos, I'm trading daily, I'm, watching screens all the time. Sometimes I think that my relationship with the market is not that healthy. Sometimes I think that the market's my boss. Sometimes I think that I need to be at the screens all the time, watching everything, making sure I never miss a beat. And that doesn't feel healthy. So today's a day to make sure that you're in control. Show the market that you're the boss. If you don't have to trade today, don't trade today. If you want to trade today and, you're going to trade responsibly with a stop loss, with proper size, if you're only going to take good setups, you're not just going to, throw money at the market because why not? It's the day before the holidays and let's see if we can get lucky and pay for some Christmas gifts. That probably falls into the not so healthy camp. If you're able to walk away from the screens today, maybe you watch the opening bell, stick around for 15 minutes and say, you know what? Volume's low. It's the day before the weekend of the holidays. I'm out of here. It's probably a healthy thing to do for your relationship with the market. All right. So that would be what I would say about the open here this morning and sort of what you do on a day like today. All right. So I think for me, it's a day to exercise healthy relationship with the market and probably, not stay glued to the screens all day. All right. All right. That's what I've got for you from a psychological and, again, relationship perspective with the market. We talked about some patience on the open because we're opening in range. Overnight high needs to be adjusted a little bit higher now. We'll still give you some situations, some scenarios. We'll do the full thing as we always do, but I did want to put that out there in the world to almost reaffirm it for myself and make sure I actually stick to that on today's session. All right. So what are some scenarios? Well, as always, when we're opening in range, we're looking for a balance on the open, right? So I'll draw my infamous little squiggle here. As you guys know, for anyone who's tuned in for any period of time, you guys know the deal. This squiggle just represents an opening range. It could literally happen right here where I've drawn it. It could do something like this, and the opening range could be above the prior high. It could be deeper in value area. All this represents is an opening range. So when I do something like this, it means opening range. Wherever it forms, it'll be indicative of something. If it happens over the prior high of day, that's obviously bullish. Happening inside the prior day's range, not as bullish, right? So let's just pretend it happens here because we're currently slated to be opening under the prior high of day. 4 obvious trades that happen when you have an opening range, right? Break the top, break the bottom. Fake break, move through the bottom, even more powerful because you've got trapped longs. Fake break through the bottom, back through the top, even more powerful because you've got trapped shorts here. All right, so those are the 4 obvious setups whenever you have an opening range. In terms of executing them, again, identifying the things that you need to do, that's an I for identification. Identifying the things you need to do is easy. Executing the things that you need to do, very, very difficult. All right, so when I say something's obvious or easy, it's in relationship to the identification of the thing. I totally understand that executing the idea is very, very difficult. Totally different beast, okay? So watch for an opening range. If you're going to trade it, watch for a breakout, breakdown, and those 4 things that we just discussed. If the opening range, here's where it gets a little bit more nuanced, and I can give you a little bit, hopefully a little bit more insight, right? If the opening range is happening over the value area high and we're forming higher lows and it actually looks more like an ascending triangle, of course you're just going to watch your prior high of day as a possible breakout point, all right? And that would start a little bit of a counter trend rally for the ES, and maybe we get back up to that 3,900. This is where you would want to see a lower high, remembering that it was the low of the consolidation flag from Wednesday. All right, so if we go opening range, ascending triangle, break the prior high of day, 3,900's on the table as a possible lower high from here to here. All right, and that keeps the hourly downtrend intact, 4-hour downtrend intact. It would be a counter trend 15/5-minute move. All right, so 3,900, carry that forward, resistance. All right, if the opening range happens above the prior high of day, obviously that's more bullish, and 3,900 is definitely on the table. If we go opening range breakdown, right, so through the bottom of the range and fall into the value area, patience, chop through here, knowing the type of day it is, right, knowing what day it is. It's the day before the holiday weekend. I would not want to even touch anything. Even if this was, let's say this was my only day to trade the ES in the entirety of the year, I would be very, very disappointed if we moved into the value area because there's the potential for chop in there, right? And it's a large value area. So even though this was not choppy in yesterday's session, we just know that this is where the market's most content, so we could see some chop there. So opening range that fails the value area high and moves into the value area, I would be skeptical and cautious of anything in that area, okay? So that's what I've got for you on today's session. I know it's very brief, but again, I think that you should try to use today as an exercise to keep your relationship with the market healthy and not push it and develop bad habits. So what does the chat seem to think on today's session? Let's take our infamous YouTube poll. If you are bullish, thinking that we possibly go opening range that turns into an ascending triangle, breakout into 3,900, that arrow went way too far. 3,900, there we go. If you think 3,900 is on the table, let's see a number 1 in the chat. If you're a little bit more neutral, thinking that we just noodle around something like this, but probably hold the overnight low from the PCE reaction, let's see a number 2. Then all the bears who think it's going to go opening range, crack the lows into the value area, lower highs, test the low of day, something that does this. For a number 3 to be in play, today, guys, value area wants to be overlapping to down. So here's value area from yesterday. If you're voting number 3, you want value area to look something like this, overlapping to down, or just break away to the downside, which would be even more bearish. Okay? So I'll let that simmer. And of course, let's say that the number 4 for today is not the ostrich, but the elf on the shelf. Terrible game. But a number 4 today is your elf on a shelf. No idea. Things always moving around. You don't know where it's going to be. Elf on a shelf. All right. I'll type up the official YouTube poll as we wait for that, and we'll go from there. What do you think? Question mark. Bull. Newt. Let's add some options here. Bear. Oh, we'll go elf on a shelf for number 4. All right. Official clickable YouTube poll is out there in the world. We're going to mention this once. If you've enjoyed the stream so far, if this is your first time tuning in, thumbs up on the video goes a long way to show some support for the channel. And subscribing to the channel, make sure that you'll never miss another stream again. The streams are typically taken down after the closing bell of the day. Helps with the channel performance. I know you're like, dude, that's weird, whatever. Trust me, this whole, the enigma of the YouTube algorithm, so to speak, it is as finicky as people say it is, okay? So you got to do all sorts of weird things, all right? And that's sort of what it likes. So again, if you want to be notified every time a stream is up and running, we typically are live at 8:30. Today is an exception because of PCE. Hit the subscribe button if you're new. If you are not new, hit the thumbs up button. Hopefully you're already subscribed. And with that, we'll just continue along, all right? So scrolling up, what do we have for typed in YouTube results for the poll? Looking like we've got 3, a shark pattern from Colin. Yes, it's a shark pattern today. We've got 3s, 1s, 2s right off the bat, getting every single possible outcome there. Life Between Raindrops. What an appropriate name for this morning's stream. Lots of 1s, 2s, 1s, 2s, 1s, 2s. Not so many 3s here this morning. Chat's feeling fairly bullish, it seems. What else? 1s, 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 2s. Couple 3s as we get lower through the list, but not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. Harry St. Louis, good morning, sir. Nice to see you. What else? Warshawn, nice to see you. Johnny Whitaker's here. Sweet Al. INF's going to play board games, not market games today. I don't blame you. Hey, if anyone wants to play a game of chess, certainly up for a game of chess. What was the PCE, Jeff? The PCE came in at the expectation at 0.2. This is the month-over-month core PCE at the expectation for 0.2. Market kind of did, a quick down, and then now it was back up, and now it's down again. So it doesn't really seem like it's impacting us all that much. Again, the CPI was really the big deal from last week, as we know, or the week prior, rather. And, CPI was the big hit for the market, and PCE is just at expectation. So we really just saw a little bit of volatility, not a whole lot of direction anyways. So, yeah, a sell-off before the closing bell. It's possible. We'll see. We will see. Does the market close early today? I don't think so. Yeah, hey, Sharath, I'm actually in the middle of watching The Queen's Gambit on Netflix. It's funny you mentioned that. I've watched the first 2 episodes. Finished up the second one last night. Pretty cool stuff. All right. I think we've covered the ES. We did our job here for the ES. We talked about situations. Nothing's really changed much here. For anyone new tuning into the stream again, just to let you know, we are looking for an opening range that possibly breaks down into the value area. If that is the situation, we're looking for a number 2. Chalk it up to a day of no trade. Just walk away from the screens. And if we do something like this and possibly put in an ascending triangle type look, watching for a break here to like 3,900-ish for a possible lower high. That would satisfy your hourly. Okay? So that's just to sum it up. Yes, markets close at 1 p.m. today. Is that fact? I do know that Monday is closed. Monday, December 26th is closed. Markets are closed in observance of the Christmas holiday. Okay, so don't expect anything on the 26th. Don't wake up early if you're on California time, Hawaii time, somewhere on the West Coast and say, oh, look, We're up at, what do you guys have to get up at, like 4:30 to start prepping for the market open? Don't get up at 4:30 and say, oh, I'm going to start trading today, just to realize that the market's closed. Bonds close early. Bonds close at 1, full market day today. Full day for equities. Perfect. Look, see, this is why we've got a great chat here. We've got a great community here. We can answer these questions for you, right? Look at that. Beauty. Absolute beauty. Yeah, that sounds about right to me. Early bond close, full day markets. All right. Not that great. Rating went down to 1,600, 1,800 probably. That's still pretty darn good. I mean, anything that's north of 1,500, I would say is pretty good. Maybe I'm just a really bad chess player, but I'm hovering somewhere around 1,300, 1,400. I'm not great. I like playing the game, but I will totally admit I'm not great. I am not great. All right, so let's move along here. Let's take a look at the NQ. What's going on with the NQ? What's up, NQ? NQ. Take a look at the NQ. I would say some similar things. Let's have a look at the 4-hour time frame chart. 4-hour time frame chart. What's up here? So boom, there you go. Overhead range breaking down. We found our beautiful lower high at the gray bar we had been discussing. What's going on in the pre-market? Continuing to offer a possible lower high underneath there. Pretty decent, right? Pretty decent. So let's go ahead and move on down to the hourly. What's up with the hourly? Downtrend still remains intact. Some volatility from the PCE number. Very similar to the ES. The sell-off was a little bit more extreme in the NQ, and the dead cat bounce was not as extreme in the NQ as what we just saw in the ES. So knowing that, there's a little bit more weakness here on a relative basis in the NQs. Let's go to the 15 and see what we can see. Let's adjust our overnight levels somewhere here, and we'll drop this on down somewhere here. Good. So what are we looking at? What are we looking at? Again, with the PCE, it just seems to be a volatility event, not so much a directional move. Came in at the expectation. It's not really doing a whole lot in terms of market direction. Opening range is still what we're looking for. The 3 questions are the same as the ES. We are opening inside of range on question 1. This one's actually opening inside of the value area for question 1.5. So again, remember that that's very neutral now for the first 2 questions, or 1 and 1.5 at least. Question number 2, technically, overnight range, we're opening smack in the midpoint, another neutral indication balance. Question number 3, overnight inventory is definitely skewed net long, getting closer to balanced here as this, now downdraft starts unfolding. But still, let's go with like 70% net long NQs. Doesn't mean a whole lot when this is opening in balance in range, so nothing about this represents shock and awe. I think patience is the play on the open. I think today's a day to just say, hey, if there's something obvious in the first maybe 30 minutes of the day to do, quick scalp you can take on the futures, take it and then walk away, right? That seems to be a decent strategy for today, right? So that's the NQ. Not a whole lot to discuss different than the ES. Remember, opening range here possibly sets up something interesting to get to your prior high of day. Your breakout point is not as clear, but because these are single prints from yesterday, there might be some thin structure to move through over the overnight high. So that would be a scalp in the NQ, there. And again, that still keeps a lower high in the hourly. Or if we go opening range and break down, or if it's just opening range in the value area, just patience play. Maybe something here, maybe something there, but very, very cautious about those moves. They don't strike me as high probability type things. All right, next up, Russell, RTY. Let's go 4-hour chart. What else? INF prefers low IQ games. You want to play a game of checkers? I'll play in a game of checkers. What else? Backgammon's a good one too. Yeah, backgammon requires some strategy. That's for sure. What else? I should play in Prospect Park. Is that somewhere in New York? Am I gonna get hustled there? Jerome, those are not scripted. Those are manual. Yeah, I think someone else mentioned that they were manually. Yeah, Nick mentioned that. Yep, they are manually drawn, and I'm glad we could figure out the whole script thing last night. Thank you for the email, by the way. For anyone who ever is interested in getting the tick scripts or anything like that and the redirect page misses, just shoot me an email, right? Just shoot me an email and I've got you covered. No reason to file a PayPal case. That thing's just kind of a headache. But anyways, glad we could sort that out. Connect 4, yeah, that's a good one too. We're talking about board games for anyone who's just tuning into the chat. We were talking about board games, talking about chess, checkers, backgammon, and now Connect 4 is being thrown into the loop. Russell, 4-hour chart. We know it's bearish. We know we found a lower high, meaningful one here. We know that we have an equal low though in the Russell. So, guys, what is the Russell? The Russell is our divergence indicator. I'll put a D here for divergence. It's the one that we need to be keeping a close eye on. It's been acting as the market leader. It has been acting as the market leader, right? Look at this. Look at this low. Look at this low right here. I'm going to quickly flip back to the ES, right? Look at this low here, ES, all right? Mental snapshot, take it in, absorb it, do whatever you've got to do, write it on a piece of paper, lower low ES, lower low ES. Let's go back to the NQ. What's going on in the NQ? Mental snapshot, write it on a piece of paper, make note, do something, lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low, NQ, lower low. All right, moving on. Make sure you got it. You wrote it down, you took a mental snapshot, RTY. What's going on with the Russell? Whoa, would you look at that? Would you look at that? Take a mental snapshot, write it down, pay attention. D for divergence, equal low. All right, where else did we get an equal low that was really, really telling in the Russell? When was another situation where this happened? Let's scrunch this chart up and just remember this right here, right? What did this do for the market? This signaled the reversal in the market, the equal low in the Russell, the fact that on the CPI from October, we didn't get a big time gap down through the lows here, right? The Russell just made the equal low. This signaled the rally. The Russell had been acting as a leader, okay? So I'm not saying that the Russell has to do something like this. I'm not saying that a new move is going to unfold, but I'm saying if there's funny business, remember, here's that asterisk if, right? If there is funny business, the Russell is telling us something here with the equal low. All right, so be mindful of that. It's acted as a leader in the past. We've got an equal low, did not make a lower low. If we start making higher highs here, pull back for a higher low, is there the possibility of trend reversal? Yes, of course there is. There's the possibility. Now, again, I think that it's bearish until proven otherwise, but this is something to keep in the back of your mind. Remember, maybe this is why I like chess so much, because it reminds me of the market. You always have to be thinking about your opponent's moves, 3-5 moves in advance. What is setting up to possibly happen? What's the plan of the market? What is trying to be achieved here? If this, then what? How am I going to respond? If you're talking about chess, how am I going to respond to a check? How am I going to respond if someone's setting up a sacrifice? Am I going to fall into the trap or am I not going to take? Right? I mean, it's endless. So the market, chess, parallels, similarities, maybe that's why, those things go hand in hand. But thinking about this is the back pocket scenario to have in your mind. All right, there's the Russell for you. 15-minute time frame chart, just to make sure we're not missing anything on the smaller time frames. This made a new higher high in the overnight over the prior high of day. So again, that strikes me as being interesting. A little bit more bullish from that perspective, and it respected the overnight low. We didn't really undercut in a big way the overnight low. So let me be very clear that the Russell is offering some divergence. Whenever you see a divergence, it doesn't mean that you throw your hands up in the air and say, that's it, full portfolio long, market's got to go higher. That's not what we're saying. We're saying this is a cautionary balance to the equation, but the ES and the NQ are both bearish until proven otherwise. Bearish until proven otherwise. All right? Cool. So we've covered the broad market index futures. Let's have a look now at our spiders and the core list, the ETFs, right? What's going on? Oops, we want the pre-market setup. There we go. So SPY, what's going on here? Daily candle yesterday printed a nice hammer. Nice hammer based on this reversal off the lows, which is technically a bullish reversal candle, right? This would imply that buyers stepped up. Again, it doesn't change the downtrend, but it possibly implies that we could search for another lower high, right? That's on the table. It's on the table. With the PCE number, we're rolling over a little bit in the pre-market, so I think we're kind of neutral until proven otherwise. We're opening inside the prior day's range. So everything that we just discussed in the ES applies here to the spiders as well, the spiders. Opening range, a break possibly gets interesting for the lower high here off of 385.50. Remember that is the low of the consolidation from the flag. That's the equivalent of 3,900. I'll get better at drawing my nines. There we go. 3,900 in the ES, right? That's the area of resistance for the next lower high. If the market rallies in the first place, if we just stay sideways in range, we're building out a bear flag, something that does this, right, into the future. So that's the spiders. Let's take a look at the QQQ. What's going on in the Qs? What's going on in the Qs? So same idea, lower wick, big time piercing of the lower expected move for the week, and just doodling around sideways here, far off of the prior high of day. Easily can offer a lower high anywhere underneath 274, even if there is some sort of rally, right? Looking for a lower high anywhere under 274. Opening in range, really wild pre-market action. It's really more of a broadening formation, right? You get these types of looks. Broadening formation's choppy. It's not indicative of any trend, right? So I don't know, neutral through here. It would be hard to have a bias opening in the current position of the market. You know, in the grand scheme of things, I would say that the bias is just still short coming out of this overall balance. All right. So not really seeing a reason to press it in the Qs. IWM, as we just pointed out, a little bit of divergence here with a much more equal low. You know, overnight high might be worth watching. Prior high of day might be worth watching. Over 174.50 gets interesting for a 177 back test. Just confirming that as a lower high sort of deal, right? Something that does this, keeps us in bear flag consolidation down here. That would seemingly be okay to watch for in the IWM. If it does produce a trend reversal, if it makes a higher high over that and then higher low, maybe something new is forming, but that would require time passing. It's not going to happen over the course of one day. All right. So overall, again, trying to keep a balanced approach here. Most things are still bearish until proven otherwise. IWM's offering a little bit, just a little bit of a divergence currently as a back pocket situation. Let's have a look at Apple. What's going on with AAPL? Continued lower highs. Low breakdowns underneath 134.85, bear flag consolidation. Yesterday's sell was quite nice. Sideways in the pre-market, not really getting a lot of trend. Again, more of a broadening formation with your highs and lows. Opening in the midpoint of the prior day's range. Again, not really seeing. It doesn't really seem obvious to me that there's a big move brewing for today's session. Right? It doesn't seem obvious that some big boom, breakout, boom, breakdown is going to unfold. And again, I could eat my words on that, but nothing about the pre-market indications after PCE, the fact that Wall Street is all on vacation right now. You know, maybe there's some low volume shenanigans that take place, but I'm not seeing an obvious like, hey, this is the level. This is what you've got to trade. If anything, maybe Apple's a little bit of a long, you know, through the thin structure here from the breakdown. Right, you would think of this as poor structure, which is also overlapping with this poor structure. You would just watch for a lower high, right? Anywhere here, 134.85. Boom. Right? So that's maybe in play, but again, I don't think that you should be aggressive in trying to trade something like that on a day like today. Netflix is setting up an interesting play on the long side. Technically, this is a 3-bar play right here. We've got a, you know, I'm just going to draw this down here. So this is what I'm drawing. This is the green bar, right? This is the hammer. Hammer is technically an inside bar. If we take out that high, bar 3 technically should get some follow through, and look what that brings us into, the overhead gap. I'd watch Netflix over 303. All right, Netflix over 303 could be interesting. Tesla. What's up with Tesla? Falling off of a cliff still. Yes. Yes is the answer. Sideways bear flag acceptance on the lows. This, instead of broadening, is actually compressing. So possibility to watch a break here or a break here. Remember that new money shorts are fairly difficult. I know it's just waterfall. You know, it would have been quote unquote easy money to just grab puts yesterday morning and just let it go. But think about your risk reward, right? You're building a bad habit if you're just buying puts blindly and saying, oh, it's going to go down, right? Because the one time you do that and it doesn't go down, you're going to be a deer caught in headlights and say, what do? Do I hold these until they go to zero? Do I lose everything? Do I cut my loss here at 20%? Do I stop out over the prior high of day? Do I stop out at 5%? Do I give myself a dollar limit and say I'm willing to lose, I don't know, $1,000? It's just it's a nasty habit to get into. So risk reward still does not look favorable for downside in Tesla. We don't have a nice setup. In terms of upside, I think someone's trying to repair something maybe after all of this wind. I'm hearing as crazy as it sounds, guys, I know I was talking earlier, and for those of you who are possibly just tuning into the stream, we were talking about, sustained 40-mile-an-hour winds, gusts up to 60. Someone's out there right now with either a staple gun or a nail gun trying to fix something that I can hear, I don't know, 100 yards away, 200 yards away or something like that. Kind of funny. I can hear the wind still howling, and I'm just picturing. I'm actually very, very, very curious to go, walk down the driveway and see if there's some guy hanging onto a roof with a staple gun trying to fix something or whatever. But anyways, complete tangent. Just makes me laugh. Makes me laugh on a day like today. But Tesla, the moral of the story is pretty tough to get short here. If anything, possibility for a snap in the other direction. I know I said that yesterday, and it just melted. But you've got to be open to that possibility. The dead cat bounce will come. We just don't know when it's going to come. All right. Vish offers up a possible learning lesson here. Lost $3,000 in 2 days. Took me 2 weeks to make $1,600. Yeah, man. You've got to have better risk reward, right? You've got to have better risk reward. If you're losing $3,000 in 2 days, and it took you 2 weeks to make the $1,600, then your risk reward is all kinds of off, right? You're not following your rules. And not to make this is not, hey, you're bad, get out of the industry. It's no, hopefully, this provides a learning lesson here. You've got to make sure that you can cut your losses sooner and let your winners run. And, it's the cliche everybody always talks about, but it's true. Trading's a math game. At the end of the day, it's a math game. If your risk reward does not align with your percentage win rate, then you will never be profitable. You will never be profitable. All right. Serpa 89 says 3K is baby money. Well, everybody starts at different places. Everybody starts at different places. So 3K may be baby money to you, and congrats for leveling up. But everybody's got a different stage, right? So 3K is possibly a big deal. Anyways, hopefully that was a learning lesson, and you can see that now that you've got the hindsight to see it. You've recognized, okay, risk reward probably needs to be improved. I've got to have a better strategy where I can use a tighter stop loss and, do something of the sorts like that. And, as soon as the math comes into alignment, you'll be like, okay, things are feeling a little bit better. All right. Yeah. Big spender, huh? Yeah. Anyways, all right. Cool. Let's get back to business. We covered Tesla. We went through some risk reward stuff. We had some comments about the man on the roof with the nail gun and the staple gun trying to fix things in this crazy wind. Google. What's going on with Google? The headline this morning, again, I from a PR perspective, I think that was a horrible thing to release or even just say as a CEO. Hey guys, watch out. Your performance reviews for the upcoming year, you're at a really high risk for having a low, terrible looking performance review. So better watch out, right? Well, that's terrible. That just seems such a bad way to manage employees. But guess what? I'm not a CEO. So maybe I know nothing about the industry, and that is a good way to manage employees. Maybe I know nothing, but from an outsider's perspective, seems like a horrible incentive for employees. You want to have positive reinforcement, not negative reinforcement. That's like psychology 101. But maybe I'm just an idiot, and that's why I'm not the CEO of Google. But anyways, from a stock perspective, certainly hammer candle on yesterday's session. This is interesting because it broke down from the 2-day bear flag and failed to close underneath 87.25, the low of right here. So I would be watching for a dead cat bounce, possibly in Google over the overnight high, something that does this, and then continues to consolidate out. I would think that would be reasonable. If it does continue to dribble lower, again, fairly difficult to trade, noting the lower wick from yesterday. It's going to be difficult to trade short into the prior day's, end of day rally, I think. So that's that. Meta, what's going on with the Fantasyland? Fantasyland is doing what? Absolutely nothing. This continues to be almost like Tesla and untouchable, but for the reason that it's not trading nicely whatsoever. It's trading sideways in this range. We're towards the midpoint of the range. I mean, the open is 117. It's just a couple bucks underneath here. Untouchable, right? It's got to get into this overhead gap. 124's got to trade, or underneath 114 has to trade to get to the 109.25 breakdown for this. So Metaverse, Fantasyland it's a fantasy for trading as of right now. Nvidia, thank the high heavens, the trade worked. We talked about this yesterday in the live stream, right? The fact that we were watching the 160 breakdown. We offered this up in the Discord. We said, hey, Nvidia is moving underneath 160. Any opportunity to get on board on a 5-minute, look for lower. Did end up working out. That was a beautiful trade. Took this and Apple yesterday. Those were the two trades of the day, Nvidia and Apple. And, I was, to be honest with you, I bailed early. I did not hold this into 152, but it went to target through target. So what a move out of Nvidia yesterday. Congrats to anybody who caught it. That was, fantastic way to end the year, really, honestly. So going forward, I think that Nvidia is, not in play today because the move, so to speak, the quote unquote, the move happened yesterday, bouncing off the 50, bouncing off the low from here. I think that the market could see a dead cat bounce. I don't think Nvidia is a continued short for big downside, right? I think that it's a patience play now. Wait for the next setup, dead cat bounce, lower high. Maybe we're interested on the 152 breakdown next after a lower high, right? We'll see what happens here, but I would not be looking to trade this on the morning session. Microsoft, what's up with Softy? Tesla, I don't think Tesla's short restricted. I'm just going to quickly have a look at that for you. No, Tesla is not short restricted. Unless there's something going on with the fact that it's had consecutive down days. I don't know what the rules are on that. I don't think I've ever really ran into that issue, but at least on Thinkorswim, it's easy to borrow if you want to short the shares. I think puts are just the easy way to play it, right? So that's Tesla. Doesn't seem like it's on a short restriction list, but maybe it is because it's been down so much here. I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. Where were we? Microsoft. Softy. Tesla was short restricted yesterday. You can't deal with margin. All right. Yeah. Okay. Restricting margin. Yeah, I don't know. I would never short Tesla via shares. I would just use puts. So interesting. Okay, cool. So for all you folks who are possibly, and by the way, I trade cash accounts. I don't have a margin account. The only margin account I have is for futures. But so for all you folks who are possibly shorting with cash shares, yeah, it looks like Tesla, from all these messages, is kind of confirming it's on a restricted list. They're trying to stop the bleeding. Just short it with puts. Buy puts. Anyways, and I'm not. let me be very, very clear. Be very, very clear. I just said buy puts. That was by no means a recommendation. If you listen to the analysis that we just did literally minutes ago, this is terrible risk reward for new shorts. New shorts do not want to be getting active here. All right, you've missed the move. You're getting short, quote unquote, in the hole, as we say, with terrible risk reward. Not ideal. All right, that's Tesla. Let's continue along. We were on Microsoft. What's going on with Microsoft? Microsoft looked a little into the gap, but bounced off of it. Currently hanging out here. So what would I say about Microsoft? Decent opportunity for a little bit of a snapback, I would say. Reason being is that we made the lower low, yes. And if we do something like this, move through this thin structure and retest this high, it seems reasonable. Notice that the sellers did push it underneath these big equal lows, right? And there's very little acceptance on these lows. So the seller's kind of, running out of bullets, so to speak, down here at the bottom. And we're trading right around this area. So if we can pop back above with a little acceptance, 238.50, there might be a little bit of a snapback to find another lower high. Maybe we consolidate a little longer and then break down through the gap. So Microsoft, again, not looking for new money shorts, instead watching for possibly acceptance over 238.50 for some sort of dead cat. It doesn't mean that the market's bullish here in Microsoft. It just means that we're not looking for new shorts on the lows. All right. Last but not least, we have got ourselves Amazon, the mini beast. What's up with Amazon? Amazon looks good for continued downside, and the reason being is because, of course, we got the break, retest, and move lower. We didn't go to the 80 target. We did move lower, but look at where we've closed, right? This is the important tell here in Amazon, which makes it unlike what we just saw in Microsoft, right? If I do something like this, we're still, well, number one, we're still underneath this overhead supply instead of closing right on it. And number two, if you think about this as a bear flag, right? 2-bar bear flag right here, 2 days of consolidation. We still have closed underneath the lows of the bear flag breakdown. So to me, it's more bearish in Amazon than Microsoft with the better close there. So Amazon could look for continued downside as long as we're underneath the lows here. What's the number? 84.50, right? 84.5. As long as we're underneath 84.5, looking for continued selling pressure in Amazon into 80. Be tactful. Make sure you've got an intraday setup that supports the idea for a move lower. You've got to stop over the high of day. You've got to stop after, a bear flag on the 5 minute, something that does this, right? So make sure you've got a setup, but that's kind of the idea in terms of what to be looking for. All right. So that's the core list of companies. We're moving closer to that time frame where people start tuning out. Let's just hang out, or I'll be hanging out here for a little bit, just chatting with you guys. We'll hang out in the chat for a minute and maybe watch the open. Just as a reminder for folks who are just tuning in, folks new to the stream, we've got a weather situation here where I'm at. We're dealing with some high winds. So because of the possibility of a power outage, because of the type of day it is, it's the day before the Thanksgiving. It's the day before the Christmas holiday weekend. I'm not, number one, on a possible power outage day, first and foremost, going to be entering positions where I could possibly be getting stuck. And then number two, because of the day that it is, it's the day before the holidays, I just don't think it's worth trading. I think showing the market that it's not your boss and that you are in control is a good exercise to go through. So let's hang out here for a couple minutes and we'll possibly watch the open, first 5 minutes or something like that, and then we'll go from there. Cool. Almost Davey Day Trader's been out skiing all week. Nice, dude. Where are you? Are you out west? Are you up north in New England? It's a totally different scene. I've never been out west. I've only snowboarded personally the icy, grimy New England mountains. Right out west is like fluffy, powdery, nice, dry snow. Here in New England, it's all wet all the time, icy. You get two speeds. You get slow and straight down fast. No in betweens. Nothing soft and fluffy out here. Unless you get out there like the day, like as it's snowing, as it's dumping. If you get out there, maybe that you get a little bit of a powder day. But other than that, it's either ice or just mashed potatoes, one or the other. Robert, personally, we trade options, or at least I trade options. I think most folks around here trade options and futures as well. Futures make up about 80% of my trading. I would say that personally, and maybe this is just a FAQ, possibly. Personally, my trading over 2022 at least had switched to like 80% futures and 20% options, right? Whereas in the past, I was definitely along the lines of maybe like, I don't know. Let's go with like 65% options. So this is now F futures. This is options. In the past, it used to be 65% options. And what would that leave us with? 35% futures. It's totally reversed. Futures have become much more of a part of my repertoire. So, that's why we look at the ES. That's why we look at the NQs on the open. And I also think that the ES and the NQ are just really good to have an understanding of for overall market context and direction. It's kind of I don't want to say a requirement for, it's not a requirement for trading, but it definitely helps give you a better understanding of the market. That's for sure. What else? Questions, comments, concerns? New to the channel, Kyle. Nice to have you. Welcome. What else? Coldest Blades in the building. Nice to see you. Thanks for the videos. Been sick most of the week, so I've missed a bunch of the market. Still managed to get some green, though. Nice. Love to see that. Congrats, man. Hope you round out the year, nice and solid, and feel better. That's what I'd say. Enjoy the holidays, right? Don't let the market be your boss. Relax, take some time off, come back strong 2023, right? Do we have a troll in the chat? Who's trolling? I can't tell. Who's trolling? Futures from the start for Johnny. 3 degrees in Houston. Oh, Kay, I thought you were telling me over the summer it was like 90 degrees there. You're getting me all excited about possibly going south. Now you're telling me it's 3 degrees? It's warmer up here in New England. That's disheartening. What's the ratio of trades that are short versus long? It's definitely skewed long. I'm a better long trader than I am short, and this is a data point that you should recognize for yourself. For me, it's easier to go long the market. I know in the past, when the market was rallying and everybody was like, "Oh, the market's going to fall apart. It's got to collapse. CPI is ugly. Blah 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 blah." And we were just looking at the uptrend and objectively calling it an uptrend. I was loving it because I trade better in a long environment, and everybody was so skeptical. I was comfortable with the longs, and as we're flipping into this downtrend, I'm definitely having a tougher time switching over to the short side and trading shorts. It's not that I don't trade shorts; it's just that I'm usually skeptical of them. It's just a psychological thing, and you should get in the habit of identifying for yourself in your own trading what side you're better at trading. For me, it's long. Okay, so I would say something like 70% of my trades are in the long direction and 30% are in the short direction. And if you're an ETF, if you're an index trader, I would just add this, right? If you're an index trader, let's go to a really large time horizon. Let's look at a 15-year chart. If you're an index trader, you better have a long bias on your trades. How do you expect to make money shorting this all the time? Unless you're very tactful and you take only a handful of trades when the market is only showing you a short setup, maybe you can get out with taking like 90% short trades. But I mean, look at the trend. Of course you want to have a skew to your long trades versus short trades, right? It seemingly would only make sense that you would want to be trading in the upward direction. Markets typically move higher. This has been a shakeup, obviously, to what's been going on. 3D World, I use Tradeovate to trade futures. That's tradeovate.com. Not sponsored, not affiliated, no referral codes for you, nothing. I just think it is the best broker out there for futures trading. The depth of market ladder is the fastest I have seen. The data is always accurate, and the fills, entries, and exits are on point. Platform's really easy to use. They offer TPOs, right? So I would recommend Tradeovate. And again, not affiliated, not sponsored, no referral codes, nothing for you. Just truly, that's what I would recommend. Young Money, what service do I use for live future charts? I mean, Thinkorswim's a live future chart, right? This is the ES live. Miami Beach Broker. Ooh, voice crack. Apologies. Miami Beach Broker, thanks so much for the 2. Happy holidays right back at you. Merry Christmas to you. Wishing you and your loved ones, family, friends, everybody the best. Ting Ting, thanks for the, what is that, 12, is that 12 euros? E is for euros. Merry Christmas to you too. Thank you so much for the donation there. Greatly appreciated. Hopefully, we've provided at least that much value to you over the course of the streams and everything we put out on the channel. So thanks a bunch. Merry Christmas to you and your family as well. Wishing you all the best, and let's kick off 2023 on a really strong foot here, guys. All right. What else? Any other questions, comments, concerns before we get the open here in about 30 seconds? Yeah, Max, I just went over. Tradeovate is where I trade futures. Their margin requirements are also much better. You're right. Thinkorswim has really, really high margin requirements for the futures. I would recommend Tradeovate for a lower margin requirement. I think an ES contract these days is like $500. $500 for the ES. If you want to go MES, like if you're just learning the futures, if you go MES, you just reduce your margin to $50 a contract, right? It's 1/10 the size, which makes sense, right? It makes sense. So Really good options over there on Tradeovate. Again, not sponsored, nothing. Just think it's a great platform to be on. All right, there's the ding, ding, ding. Markets are open. Just as a full-blown reminder, again, transparency, all that stuff. I'm not trading today. I am not going to be clicking the buttons. 2 reasons. Number 1, the type of day that it is. It's the holiday, right, coming around the corner. Number 2, wind factor. So again, I want to be very clear that you just listen to me analyze the market, but if you're skeptical, I would totally believe you because, I'm not putting my money where my mouth is on today's session specifically, all right? So with that said, market is moving here, and so far so good. I mean, I haven't jinxed it yet by calling for a power outage, but wind seemingly settling down a hair at least. It's not howling like it was as I was waking up at 7:30 this morning. Market's just not doing a whole lot on the open here. So far, really mild reaction, nothing crazy going on with PCE. We'll stick it out for the first 5-10 minutes maybe in the market, see what's going on here, and then again I'm just gonna probably call it a day at that, guys. Bail early, go start enjoying the holiday, get together with friends and family, go out, get a coffee today, finish up any last minute Christmas shopping. For me, I don't know about you guys. But I suck at Christmas shopping. I'm absolutely terrible at it. I am a last minute shopper. I still haven't gotten anything. Got a couple of ideas floating around in my head, but it's a terrible habit. Just never seem to get ahead of it. If you folks are going to tune out, I know we've probably got the core group of guys, gals still hanging out with us here in the chat, but anyone who is going to tune out early, let me just blanket statement say happy holidays to everybody, regardless of whether or not it's Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, any other winter holidays that I'm sort of not including because I don't know about them. Happy holidays to you, your family, your loved ones, friends, everybody that you enjoy spending time with. It's a good time of year, right? It's a good time of year. Happy holidays to all. We'll be live next week. Remember that the market's closed Monday, so we won't be around then, but probably coming back on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, round out the week there. It'll be a slow week. Probably it'll be a very, very, very slow week, but we'll be around seeing what the market's doing. Again, probably going to have streams very similar to this one where we're like, all right, it's time to show the market that we're the boss. The market's not the boss. We don't have to trade. But we'll be around, and then we'll hit it hard, right? 2023 is going to come around. It's going to be a brand new year. New year, back in the zone for trading, and we'll see what we can make happen, right? Let's acknowledge some folks who have dropped some things in the chat. The original Rude Boy, thanks for the $2. Appreciate the donation. Appreciate you being here for the stream. Honestly, again, guys, we can't do this stream without a community, great community of folks here to back it and have a good conversation in the chat. It's always enjoyable to see the different opinions being thrown around out there, different traders talking to one another, connecting. We just had a conversation about risk reward. Someone learned something there that seemed to be a positive, net positive, right? Blith the Gecko with a number 10. Thanks again. Appreciate that. For the coffee fund specifically. Thank you. I appreciate your astuteness in also remembering that we have 2 funds going on. We have the relocation fund, looking to move somewhere south and warm, where we can avoid the blizzards of the winter. Although Texas is sounding less appealing. Kay, thank you for mentioning that it's 3 degrees there right now after wind chill. Seemingly warmer up here in New England. But we've got the coffee fund. We've got the relocation fund. Let's maybe start having some more coffee conversations back in 2023, right? Maybe I'll go out and buy some new beans and get a grinder or something, and we can go down the rabbit hole of coffee again. That was fun. Okay, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation here. Kokshi dolls with the 20 in the chat. Nice to see you around the channel a little bit more often. I've seen some more of your comments around recently on the different videos. Seems like you've been tuning in and absorbing the information. Hopefully it's been of value to you. Certainly appreciate the donation there, the $20 bill. Guys, this stuff always goes very, very, very much appreciated. I think one of the things that I want to do before the year ends is upgrade the microphone here. I know the mic quality might be fine, sounds fine, but the fact that sometimes we run into that robot voice issue makes me want to upgrade to an XLR microphone, not a USB. Right now I'm using a USB microphone, which typically just doesn't have the highest quality sound transfer or pickup rather to the computer. So I think I'm going to invest some of the money from donations, coffee fund, relocation fund, all that stuff into a microphone and an audio deck, right? A deck that could possibly up the quality of the stream, right? So appreciate that. Appreciate everybody being out here this morning. Leon Alexander as well with the 11.99 PLN. I can't read the second part of your message, but I have to imagine it says something like "Happy Holidays" in a different language there, Polish maybe. Yeah, Miami Beach Broker sure does make great audio stuff. The SM7B's on that's seemingly the go-to podcast mic, right? Oh, minus 40 with wind chill wherever Chad $7 is. Tough. All right, so let's get back to business with the market. What's the market doing here in the first 5-6 minutes of the open? What's going on with the open here? So far, upper wick, failed move over the value area high. As we pointed out, guys, what's the I think there's probably a term in sports like dead ball or something like that. I'm sort of revealing how little I know about sports here. But there's got to be something about, the play is dead ultimately in between the value area. We talked about that, right? So the fact that we failed to accept above on that little opening push higher, to me, play is kind of dead here. We're possibly chopping around in the value area. It does seem as though sellers are still in control. Let's take a look at the internals on the open. So internals on the open, we've got really neutral breaths, very, very minor reads there, 1.51, 1.33 NASDAQ. The advanced decline line's right at the zero line, but starting to get a little bit more negative ticks, failing the zero line. This is a little bit more telling here. All right. Oh, Warshawn, thank you so much for the 100 HK. Not sure what is that. HK. What currency is that? I was gonna say Hong Kong dollars. Is that a thing? Am I being totally culturally inappropriate by saying Hong Kong dollars? I don't know what HK is. HK. The first thing I think of goes to Hong Kong, but that's a capital city. I don't know why they would name a currency. Oh, it is Hong Kong dollars. John Wilkening, nice to see you. Haven't seen that name in the chat in a long time. Nice to see you, John. Great to have you. Abel, thanks for the 10 as well. Happy holidays to you and your family as well. All right, here's the deal, guys. Don't go anywhere. If you're still here, don't go anywhere. Yesterday on the, how can I do this? Oops, that's not what I want. Percent change from the open. Add. Nope, add. How do I look at the percent change from the open? Edit? I'm trying to edit this. How do I edit you? Is it over here? What am I doing wrong? All right, chat, what's up here? Customize. There we go. Oops, no. I'm trying to show you, I'm trying to give you the percent change from the open script. Why is this not working? Why can I not right click on this? Nope. Someone help me out here. I'm trying to give back to the chat. Percent, we want percent change from open. Add. Nope, it's not that way. What's up? What am I doing wrong here? I'm getting kind of mad now. Scroll over to the gear. I did that. I clicked on the gear, right? Let's click on the gear, customize. Why am I forgetting how to do this? This is added first, then edit. Edit? Where's the right click edit? Oh, this is... No, I don't want to add a million of them. I want to... Custom 3. What's going on here? Yeah, I'm getting frustrated now. I want to give you guys the script. And it's doable. I know it's doable. Why can't I? Why is it not working? Edit formula. Duh. Jeez. How foolish of me. Here we go. Let's share this. Share. All right, there it is. Blasted it into the chat a couple times. If you are a programmer, or if you're astute with your coding, there you go. All right, you can copy the script from this. You can grab the link that I just blasted into the chat. And what that'll do, if you click on it, it should open up in a panel. And if you press view on Thinkorswim, open in Thinkorswim, you can import this. And then when you import it, I believe now you should be able to go here, customize, and you should have it. I think that's how that works, right? So I already have it installed, so I don't think it's going to do anything, but there you go. All right. So you guys have the script now. You guys can read the percentage change from the open. What I'll do is I'm also going to give it to the folks in the Discord. I'm going to give it to the folks in the Discord. So if you weren't able to grab it from the chat here, or if there's some kind of issue or whatever, join the Discord. It's this link right down below. You can click on it in the description as well. You can type it in manually. I'll post it in the Discord as well. All right. So if you want it, it's available. Okay. That's my that's my Christmas gift to the chat for now. And hopefully that helps us out as a collective, having that information. All right. So futures are still not really doing a whole lot. A little bit of a lower wick now. Remember that we were saying, kind of dead play in between the value area, getting this choppy move back and forth. This is totally indicative of opening range, which is what we were saying from the 3 questions this morning. Patience was the play, inside of range, inside the overnight range, midpoint, inside the value area. Still getting some choppy vibes here from the market. 1.46, 1.55 on the breaths. Advanced decliner still backing away from zero ever so slightly. Ticks finally making a positive push here, but that's that. Not really all that impressive. Unfortunately, no, Leon. The script, you can't add scripting to the watch list widget in TradingView. I actually tweeted to TradingView yesterday about this. I said, hey, is there a possibility that we could get that added to the move there? And they said no. Cumulative volume, I'm trying my best to update the site. If you notice, I don't think anybody hangs out on the Trade Brigade blog, but I just updated the blog portion of the site. I know we've got some programmers in the chat, but I was very, very proud of myself. With the help of a very good friend, I was able to figure out some Ajax filtering. I'm just a hack it together kind of programmer. I have no formal education in programming, but I was able to do some Ajax filtering requests, some load more stuff going on there, as well as some behind the scenes JavaScript stuff that makes the carousel work nicely, and so on and so forth. So the blog page is updated. Had been working on that, and I'll try my best to get. What I want to do is I'll give you guys a little bit of a look into the back end of a website someday maybe, but the way that the current structure is I've got these PayPal buttons set up for the scripts right now. The better way that this would be programmed would be to build a WooCommerce, right? WooCommerce sort of products, and you list them as products. Everything takes place on the site. There's no PayPal redirect. You can download it from the site after you've purchased it instead of going to the redirect site. You get all this back and forth noise. Again, just kind of a guy here who hacks everything together and, tries to make it all work. One-man show. So one step at a time. I'll try to, over the course of the holidays here with some downtime, with the market being a little bit slower than normal, I'll try to get this one up there. But I want to do it the proper way with the WooCommerce product listing instead of hacking together some PayPal redirect button and fix everything. Yeah, I do use Stripe for most of it. Which again, the Stripe integration with WooCommerce would be way better. So Killa Herb, thank you for the reaffirmation that Stripe is the premier payment processor. I would agree with that. I do prefer Stripe. Do I use any indicators besides price action? No. Well, yes is the answer, but not really. This is the only indicator, so to speak, that I use. Maybe the View app, volume weighted average price, but no indicators, no RSI, no MACD, no TTM squeeze, none of that. I think it's useful to know, and it certainly can help you in the beginning stages of trading for extra confirmation type tools. But once you've got the screen time, once you understand this as a dashboard, these 4 windows right here, I think this is all you need as a trader, to be quite honest. I haven't posted the script in the Discord yet, EO. I'm going to do that after the stream ends here, which, speaking of, we've been open for 15 minutes now. Markets, again, still not really doing anything all that impressive. If you look at the volume, let's just do a quick volume comparison here. How's the volume on the first bar? Wow. Oh my goodness, guys. This almost could have gone down in history. Almost could have gone down in history. Put your eyes on the volume box right here. Right here. Look at the first 15-minute bar. 1, 2, 3, almost 4, 5. Almost 4, 5. It almost was a perfect string. That would have been kind of cool. All right. I thought that would have been cool. So, but anyways, 123K on the opening 15-minute bar here yesterday was 108, so less yesterday. What was this? This was 69,000. So maybe some just volatility from the PCE settling out, but it doesn't really strike me as aggressive traders are doing anything in this market. Again, this up here is totally indicative of chop and neutrality. Getting a little bit more bearish on the NYSE in terms of the read there, from 1.5 to 1.82, but you still have a 1 handle. Right, so it's not really all that bearish. Bearish is like -7 on the NYSE, so we don't have that going on. Definitely bearish edge, but nothing crazy. Advanced decline line, same thing. Closer to 0, not down in trend zone. Bear edge, and the tick, same thing. Rejecting the 0 line, getting more acceptance underneath. Not all that bullish just yet. All right, so no bull indications. Chopping through the value area. We've been open for 15 minutes, and again, I think that it's a dead ball, so to speak, inside the value area here. I would not be looking to do anything aggressive. As a matter of fact, as you guys know, I will not be doing anything aggressive. All right. I use a combination. This will be kind of like the last run through of the chat we'll do, and then I'll truly wrap it up here as folks are tuning out. I use a combination of the 15-minute time frame chart as well as the 5-minute chart for entering futures trades, and I'm always looking at the daily and the hourly. All right, daily, hourly, 5 and 15 minute. That's the combo. All right. Any reasoning to determining what length of option contract to take? Corey, it depends on how long the trade is planned to be. If you're trading something and you're only going to be scalping it, you're only in the trade for 5 minutes, it's not a big deal to trade a 0 DTE. Right? You can trade, whoa, that was weird. It's okay to trade a 0 DTE if you're only planning to scalp it for 5 minutes. The issue becomes if you're trading something and let's say your target, let's go over here. This will just be a quick learning lesson. Let's just say, for example's sake, let's say you're trading Amazon and let's pretend that this price action hasn't happened yet. Let's say that we're looking at this range and we're right here and we're thinking, okay, if the breakdown comes, we're going to make the move to 80. Right? If you're swing trading this, you've got to imagine that trade might take, 2 weeks to unfold. Sure, it could happen in 1 day. We could put in one red bar that gets there. But realistically, it could take 2 weeks. It could take 1 week. It could take 3 weeks. So depending on how long you could potentially see the trade taking to unfold, you should always buy more time than that. Right? So I always say, if you're going to trade and hold something for a week, like through a weekend, buy at least 2 weeks worth of options time. If you're going to trade something and the trade could last 2 weeks, I would typically say buy 4 weeks, double it. Buy 4 weeks of options expiration time. It's just because the worst thing you can do to yourself as a trader is be battling the clock on theta, right? You could be getting the direction absolutely right. You could be nailing the direction of the trade, but if you're battling theta and you didn't properly account for that in the trade setup, then you've got a losing trade. And it's really disheartening, honestly, to have the direction proper, but not be making money because theta is just eating you alive, right? So I would say more time is always better. What else? The percent from the open script is not available from Shadow Trader. WT, that's in reference to that. If you want, Shadow Trader offers this for free. It's free on our website as well. Shadow Trader does not offer the cumulative volume. That's something that we have added to the quad. Shadow Trader does have something called the, what's it called? Is it literally cumulative? Oh, it's the weighted AD. Weighted AD is what they call it. It's basically this, but visualized in a histogram. And then Shadow Trader also offers the cumulative tick. We coded our own version of it. It's available on our site as well. You can support whoever you want to support. If you want to go buy it from Shadow Trader and support Peter, all the power to you. Great trader, huge mentor of mine. I would say I stand on the shoulders of, absolute giants. Peter's huge, right? So go support Peter if you'd like. Go support us if you'd like. Totally your call. Available on both. Yes, absolutely, John Wilkening. Thanks for confirming that as well. What else? Any other questions, comments, concerns? Going to the Discord? Yeah, I'll be in there. No, I am not Shadow Trader. Shadow Trader is its own entity, and Shadow Trader is undergoing some pretty solid changes apparently as we head into the new year, right? Some restructure from them, which should be interesting. I'm excited to see their new website. They're gonna reveal something new. The anchored VWAP indicator is, I just piecemealed this thing together from code that I found online. Remember, guys, I don't have any formal training in programming, but you can kind of hack your way through things with what's that, Stack Overflow or whatever. This anchored VWAP isn't anything special. I'll share this one as well. How do I do that? If I go here and I just grab one of these, share. Let's do this. Coldest Blade is asking the real questions. So this script that I'm posting in the chat right now, that's the anchored VWAP. If you want to use that, feel free. One thing that I will say about that is you can't go intraday with it, right? If you go to the hourly chart, if you go anywhere intraday, it's not going to show up. All right, so that's only valid on a daily. I would have to recode it or do something different to have it work on intraday sessions as well. Maybe you can hack it together as well. And anyone else with programming knowledge out there could help us out. But all right, Coldest Blade's asking the real question. We will truly end on this one. And this will be the last question. Coldest Blade asks, how much are we squatting these days? Well, to answer your question, the goal is to do a 315.5 by, I don't know, maybe just one set of 5 on 315 for the new year. That's the goal. I've been prepping for it with, 265, 285, 5 by 8, sets like that. So I don't think we'll have an issue hitting the 5 reps on 315. Yeah, we're going ATG. There's no half reps around here. You always see those gym memes of people like just barely bending their knees. We're not doing that. We're not doing any of that. We're going full ATG in the rack. Not a huge pause at the bottom, but definitely sitting there for a second and getting on up from there. So yeah, 315. I don't know that I'm not the kind of guy that's going to go in there and record it and post it for you guys, but you could either take my word for it or not. But 315 is the New Year's goal, 5 reps. The bench press is where I struggle. I've been stuck at 225 by 3 for quite a while. 225 for 3 on the bench has been my max for a little while now. I've gone up for singles a little bit higher, but I typically don't like to push for that big single. It's usually for me like, how can I be comfortable and lower my risk of injury? Remember, guys, it's just so funny how this all works, right? Lifting is very much like trading as well. You got to think about risk reward, right? The risk versus the reward of hitting a big 1 rep max, not really worth it. If I can go and do something comfortable that's still really pushing myself for like 5 reps, then, it's not a big 1 rep max. I'm not pushing it to the highest degree. I'm really reducing the risk of injury, or at least trying to, by doing something like that. Nick, no. Again, this is again, you can take me for my word or not, but I am not 6 feet. I am not 200 pounds. I am shorter than the average height, and I probably weigh less than the average person. Again, you can take me for my word, or you can be skeptical and say that you can say I'm full of garbage, but those are the numbers. Those are the numbers. All right. But got to keep in mind, I've been lifting for going on 10 years now. All right. 10 years of XP, so to speak, in the gym for all my gamers out there. XP. It adds up. You're not just going to go in there and start killing stuff if you've only been in for a year, right? It takes time. Muscle memory. INF. Full of ES? ES futures? Yeah, I am full of ES. All right, one last look at the ES. Speaking of, dribbling lower into the value area a little bit deeper now. Totally conducive to the choppy / nothing burger type day that we were expecting. Internals getting a little bit more bearish, so bears do have the edge. Look at the pickup in the NYSE and the NASDAQ breaths here. Going firm 2 handles on the beginning reads. Advanced decliners picking up on the down slant, and of course your tick is still depressed under 0. So bears do have the edge, and that's that. All right, guys. So that's going to wrap up the stream. It was a fun one today. Thanks for hanging out. We talked about a ton of stuff. We talked about a lot of trading stuff. We talked about board games. We talked about lifting. We talked about the weather. We talked about, some risk reward type stuff and heading into the new year with a solid mindset, not letting the market be our boss. I think we covered some good ground in this stream today. So I know I said it once before, but I'll say it once again. I think now that we're down to like 330 or so people in the stream from a top peak of 700 or whatever, it's the true OGs, right? The people here now are the true bread and butter of the channel. I couldn't do it without you. Super thankful for you guys, joining the community here and interacting with one another, myself, the Discord, being a part of it all. Happy holidays to everybody, and we'll catch you in the next one. Take care.